my fair share of time in the procrastination station. I'd like to say that most of my residency took place during college, but the truth is, I find myself there occasionally, still to this day. The main difference is that I've learned how to identify when I'm there and what I need to do to get on the next train to productivity. And the reason why I find myself here and talking about the procrastination station today, well, it's a mix between what I've been reading and the conversations I've been having lately. We are all looking for strategies right now. Might be around how to handle the upcoming enrollment season, might be other factors. But I think in general, and I would hope this holds true for those of you listening, we are curious people. We're looking for ways to improve and grow. Might be personally, it might be professionally, or it might be both. But if we're being honest, we can run into roadblocks in the way. We can end up in the procrastination station, wondering why things aren't getting better, lamenting the fact that we aren't moving forward, or making excuses why we are not meeting our goals. The procrastination station is an interesting place. I would describe it as a liminal space. The tracks are there, but there's no train. Looking to the left or to the right, the tracks disappear into tunnels that are filled with darkness. Sometimes the track goes on for quite a while before it disappears into that dark tunnel. Other times, it's a short walk to the void of the tunnel. But upon walking into the unknown, after taking a few steps, the tunnel ultimately leads back to where we began, the procrastination station. Now, the tracks could be rusty and in need of repair. They might be gleaming, and it is a brand new station. I usually picture concrete walls dabbled here and there with peeling posters and advertisements. But maybe yours has those sparkling white tiles that we all wanted in our kitchens for a time. It's a place that looks different to everyone, depending on the task you are procrastinating and the stakes around it. The first step is identifying that we're there. I am happy to report that this does get easier over time. And once we know where we are, how do we find our way out? In my description of the procrastination station, I mentioned that it is a liminal space. These are typically defined as transitory spaces, in between one place and another. We are not meant to stay. We're meant to pass through. And I have 3 ways to move forward from the procrastination station. Each one depends on where we are getting caught up in the process. So, first up, don't get too stuck in your own head. And I know, easier said than done sometimes, right? Our thoughts don't cause movement. At any rate, mine do not. Getting out of the procrastination station requires action, and action does require thinking. But you don't need to overthink it. In fact, getting stuck in thinking mode has a name: analysis paralysis. We get so caught up in analyzing and theorizing that we just let our brain go around in circles. Thinking helps. Overthinking can hurt in more ways than one. Just get in there and get started. I will give this example. When I wanted to start a blog, I researched and brainstormed for 2 or 3 days and then just jumped right in. During those days of research, I came up with a name and a mission statement, and I do have a BA in professional writing. But other than that, I hadn't blogged before. It all started with knowing what a blog was, knowing I wanted to have one, and having an idea of what I wanted that blog to be about. Now, it's easy to get bogged down by analysis. Overthinking keeps you in the station longer than you're meant to be. And because this is a podcast for insurance agents, let's apply this back to our business. We've been talking a lot about the products in our portfolio recently. More solutions in your portfolio, more options for your clients. That makes sense, right? Well, once upon a time, that meant having a lot of options in a product line. The market is shifting away from that one product mentality. More options looks more like a diverse product lineup in our portfolio, so we can solve for more than one coverage need. Don't overthink it. Don't get inside your own head. If you're already in the market selling, you've gone through both licensing and certification, so you can definitely branch out. And if you're just starting out as an agent, that hunger and willingness to grow can fuel your learning. What else can keep us in the procrastination station? Sometimes the distance between here and the tunnel looks short, but we still wind up walking in circles. Other times it's further away, and the distance between where we are and where we want to be is overwhelming. Big concepts or life changes can be overwhelming when viewed through the lens of point A to point B. Sometimes the distance to get there is huge. Sometimes it feels huge. But we can still approach this form of procrastination in the same way. Break it down into smaller pieces. Let's start with a goal that has a few steps. Say you want to add a new product to your portfolio, and it's something you know a little bit about, but you definitely need more education on it. There's a few steps between where you are now and being able to sell that product confidently. But when you break those things down into smaller steps that start out with attending a webinar to learn more than you know now, that's a simple step. Break down tasks into next steps. What's the next thing you need to do? If it's learning more, it might be attending a webinar. And after you've attended, what's the next step after that? Keep track of your progress and keep doing the next step. And pretty soon, you'll be in a position to start selling that new product. Now, what about the days when the tunnel feels like it's a million miles away? Or maybe it seemed like a short walk and it looked like a short walk, but we're just not getting there. Sometimes that's all perception. Maybe the tunnel feels a million miles away because we haven't done the research to find out the steps to adding a new product to our portfolio. Maybe we don't know how simple the process could actually be. Maybe we underestimate our ability to pivot. Or maybe we thought it would be easy to find a downline agent for our agency, but it's taking longer than we thought. The distance between ourselves and the other side of the tunnel can either be true or fictional. If we haven't done the work on overthinking, our perception might be off and we might need to recenter. Or maybe we've judged the distance correctly, but we just need to break down the distance into a more manageable journey. Another thing that can keep us in the procrastination station, the darkness of the tunnels. And this is another one that can be literal or figurative, the unknown. So when we're in procrastination mode, the tunnels are on loop. We are literally walking in circles. But if we shift into action mode, there's something on the other side. Sometimes it's a short walk through the void to get there. Other times, you're not going to be able to see the full path. But along the way, the flashlight will turn on a little. It'll get brighter as you take more steps. And as with any noble quest, stuff will pop up along the way that makes the path easier to discern. The unknown can mess with our heads. And to be fair, anytime you're doing something for the first time, you're doing it for the first time. It's new. It's going to be a little bit messy. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. I think sometimes we think that we need to have everything 100% perfect before we even try. And it makes no sense that we think that. For those of you just starting out, you're probably not going to give an award-winning presentation the first time you pitch a plan to a real live person. One of the questions I frequently get about this podcast is what someone needs to get started. And while I could answer with this brand of microphone or hosting on this platform and then matching social media handles, I don't. My advice is to just start. Take an action, whatever that next step is toward your goal. Because again, the procrastination station is just a liminal space. We might find ourselves there, but we're not meant to stay there. We're only passing through. The amount of track between us and the tunnel looks different depending on our perception and our perspective. If we're overthinking, both of those lenses can distort our journey. And the tunnels, they contain the unknown. But what we want is on the other side of the tunnel, and the only way out is through. And then last but not least, I will leave you with this. The way your station looks depends on perception. It might change depending on what you're procrastinating and why. I know what mine looks like. It's old school. It's a little messy. Not really fancy, but I imagine yours to be new, clean, and pristine because I choose to see the best in others. So here's to finding our way out of the procrastination station and the journey to what's next. The Agent Survival Guide podcast is a production of Ritter Insurance Marketing, an integrity company. Script proofing by Emma Hazard. Recording and production by me, Sarah Ruppel. Podcast design by Urban Rivera. Like what you hear?
Rate and review our show on Apple or Spotify, and follow along with us wherever you get your podcasts.